All right, let's go to Ophelia in Asheville, North Carolina. What's up, Ophelia?
Hi.
How we doing?
Oh, hanging in there.
Oh, man. So what's going on?
So I am calling to see how to reconnect with my husband after I broke up with my boyfriend.
This will be good. Go ahead. Fill me in.
Yeah. So I don't know, blame COVID or deployments or that my ACE score of 6. I don't know. We had marriage problems and we thought the way to fix it was to go to polyamory and try to fill it in with other people who were more emotionally connected, and that obviously ended in a great big ball of burning fire.
Yeah.
So,
tell me about,
yeah.
So first tell me about how y'all came to that conclusion. Who came to who?
So I came to him. I was presented with the offer from a mutual friend of ours, and because I was talking to him about our problems, and
he was like, I'll sleep with you.
Basically, yeah, I'll sleep with you. I'll be your emotional connection. That will be great for all of us.
I'll take one for the team, Ophelia.
Exactly.
What a great guy.
Fantastic.
Man, there's a lot of people in the world that would have just not done that. But man, wow. And so you sit down with your husband and you're like, so I've got an offer for you. How'd that go?
At first he's like, I don't understand why. And then he was like, well, I can have someone as well, so we might as well just try it. And then it was about 6 months of like lust, puppy love, happiness of, yay, I can have attention when my husband's not giving me any. And then it ended up being that the person treated me like terribly. And then I broke it off. And now we're trying to just kind of stand here in the ashes. Like, well, now what do we do?
Did your husband date anybody?
Yeah, he did.
And how does that sit with you?
At the time, I didn't care. I was just happy that we could all be doing this like amicable adults, like quotation marks around that. And then now I don't like it as much, now that I'm realizing I still want to be with my husband and want to fix all the things that are broken in our relationship.
So what is broken in your relationship?
It's more of the lack of emotional connection. We got married at 18 and didn't know who we were or what was happening. And I had a bunch of childhood trauma that I've been in therapy now for 2 years, finally working through. And now that I'm getting healthier, I want to actually turn around and like fix the issues in my relationship rather than just being in survival mode.
And how's your husband doing?
He's just there. He started therapy finally.
He's more than just there, Ophelia. Like, how's he doing? Because he watched. Here's the thing: he watched his wife come and say, "Listen, you're not meeting this need for me. I think I've found this really giving, kind guy." Said he would be happy to step in and have none of the emotional support and all of the sexual intimacy support. Again, great guy, world class, and then he watched you go off and basically fall in love with somebody.
Yeah.
And he hung around at home. How's he doing now?
He hasn't actually talked about it really. I mean, he said that he was okay with it when it was happening, and I was very honest about all of the feelings and the emotions. And anytime he wanted details about like weekends we spent together or something, I would tell him. And he hasn't said anything. I can't honestly say I've asked though.
Yeah. I was giving my question, does he have permission to speak into that? Or two, I'm just trying to roll through that in my mind and like sitting down with my wife and having that conversation. And I imagine everything would be so compressed. I think my body would take over at that point and just numb me out. You know what I mean? Like that'd be the only way to get through the day.
I think so.
So here's my belief is that before I give you my beliefs, describe to me what you felt with this new person in month 1.
Like I was happy that I was getting attention and that somebody was
underneath that.
Like, there was shame, honestly, underneath it.
Underneath that. I'm not looking for negative things.
Okay.
Like, what did you feel?
I mean, I didn't eat for 2 weeks, if that's what you're asking.
No.
No.
The most common word that we hear in this world, when somebody cheats on somebody, when somebody even has like agreed non-monogamy for a season, the word most common heard is the word alive. I felt alive again.
Yeah.
And it feels it's just like cocaine. It's fireworks. It's cotton candy. It's the greatest feeling after feeling, quote unquote, not alive for so long. I don't think this had anything to do with this other guy at all. I think it had everything to do with you. And for some reason, in the relationship you are currently in, your marriage, you've chosen death. And then for some reason, you chose life with somebody who's abusive and took advantage of you. And I'm not saying all people take advantage of all people, but this guy clearly saw an opportunity. And am I right? He didn't treat you well, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, at first it felt like it, and then no.
Yeah. So, but that even your willingness to take that sort of some of this is really great and some of this is terrible, but it all felt alive, right? And so my question to you is, why are you choosing to not be alive in your marriage? Because life's so short, man. We get one shot.
I think we just got complacent. We've known each other basically our entire lives, and we stopped trying. And I didn't think that we could go back to trying. So this other avenue looked really good.
And so now you're back to wanting to try again. Tell me what you've tried. When's the last time you slept with somebody else?
Over a year ago.
Okay. So y'all called it off, right? You said, no, that was a terrible idea.
And then we tried to stay friends for a bit, and that obviously didn't work either. So then it's been about 4 months since all communication stopped.
Okay. So now you and your husband, have y'all called this off?
Yes.
Okay. And so now you're staring at each other being like, so what now?
Yes.
What have you tried?
We went to a marriage retreat together and didn't really get anything out of that. We have a vacation planned to Iceland later, like in the fall time. That's pretty much it.
So you just gave me 2 more fireworks shows. And you need to hear me say that's not how desire is built.
Okay.
Those are fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. Those are fun and a blast, and it's cool to shake the snow globe up, and it's cool to change environments. That's all great. This is a daily choice that I want to be alive. I want to be alive in my skin. This is a daily choice that me and this guy are going to sit across the table and say, we got one shot at this. We did something stupid. It didn't help us at all. And now we're living in the ash of this. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start this thing over, which is awesome. And we're going to build something totally new. And the cool thing about it is you get to build something totally new. But you got to stop with I guess we just quit trying and we've known each other half our life. All that crap, none of it matters. I could care less about any of it. Okay. Everything is about what are we going to do tomorrow? And what are we going to do today? You know what I mean? Because you come bearing all these excuses. And honestly, I don't care about your ACEs score. I do because I love you and, I love talking about trauma and stuff. We could have that conversation. All these things you're working through, which is fantastic. At some point, you have to decide I'm worth living alive in my own skin, which means I'm worth living alive in my relationships, which means I'm worth when things are running a little bit low. That's okay because it's cold outside. And I'm going to have some communication and some practices with my husband that we know how to turn the heat back up when it's time. And until you can and that's hard. That's what that's adult stuff. It's tough, man. It's boring. It's day after day after day. And holy crap, it's worth it. It's worth every step of the way. If he'll play along. Will he play?
Yeah, he will. He's so into keeping the relationship going. I think that was part of it too, is that he wanted to keep me happy, and so he agreed to it.
So you're going to have to process that shame and say that out loud. Have you told him that? Because here's the thing. Now you're going to start beating yourself up over it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, completely.
And he doesn't need yet another you don't need this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So can you forgive you? Can you forgive y'all and put a period at the end of it and then go excavate this thing and build something new?
I'm going to have to. I can't build anything on shame.
You're right, but millions and millions and millions and millions of people do.
Okay. I guess just what's the practical steps then? I don't know if I've ever been taught how to live in the everyday.
Yeah. So here's some practical stuff. The first thing is, before you go on like another marriage retreat or something spectacular, here's the thing. Those things come with a lot of pressure. And if there's still smoldering ash, that pressure can just lead to something combustible.
Okay.
And so when I'm going to enter into, like, if my wife and I are going to go to a retreat of some sort, we've got a plan as to what we're going in to get out of this thing. If we're going on vacation, like we talk about in our house, what's this do we need this just to be a reckless wheels off weekend together? Do you need to sleep? And I'm going to go for hikes or whatever. Like, we are real intentional about what the plan is. Otherwise, we both go in with different plans. And then we both go in different plans. We have different fantasies about what's going to be on the back end of this thing. We're all going to be all in love again. No, we're not. That guy just slept the whole weekend. Or we're going to have crazy sex all weekend. We're going to reconnect and find it. Not really. Just want to go to a movie. I'm tired, right? And my knee hurts. Like, whatever the thing is. And so you have to be super intentional way in advance. And so here's what it looks like. Number one, it looks like you being honest with the shame and honest with the secrets. And either there's a couple of things you haven't told him yet. And I'm not talking about gory details about whatever weekend getaway or whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this was a terrible idea and you knew it while you were in it and you need to say that out loud. Or you don't think it was a terrible idea and you gave it a shot and then you realized halfway through it was a terrible. You just need to be honest. Shame eats secrets for breakfast. So there's got to be a season of honesty, and you have to give him a safe space to be honest too.
Okay.
And he will probably say things that are hard to hear. Is that fair?
Totally fair. Yep.
Okay. Have you been totally honest with him, 100%?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Then this will be about creating a space for him to talk. And then here's the goal. What are your needs? So I'm going to ask you that. What do you need? What makes you feel alive? What made you feel alive?
Feeling seen by the person, seeing that I was having a rough day without actually saying it, or that my family went off on one of their drunken tangents again and I could actually express my emotion to the person and have them be supportive. Like, I need to feel seen and supported. Okay.
Here's what a great gift is. And this is not in any Hollywood movie. Okay.
Okay.
You being really clear with him about what being seen looks like.
Okay.
And in the moment, when you are not feeling seen, you say it, not angry and not out of rage, but you're a teacher and it's a gift. This is a moment when I need you just to come hug me and say, I'm so sorry your day was hard, and say nothing else. Okay?
Okay.
The same as you gave this other knucklehead that benefit of the doubt. Like, I like this in bed, or I like that. You taught him those things. Teach your husband the important stuff. Okay?
Okay.
Fair?
Fair. Totally
and he gets to tell you what he needs. And by the way, being seen is just one, because being seen is part one of, I need you to see all of me and please still love me. And for a kid with a 6 on the ACEs score, a lot of people have had their way with you, both emotionally and otherwise. And you have a spinning, like a fusion center in your heart that tells you what you're worth. And it is 1% of what the truth is. Okay?
Okay.
Am I right?
Yes. Yeah, you are.
Okay. So you're going to have to let him tell you what his needs are, and you can't fly off the handle. And you can't shut down, right?
Run away. That's my
There we go. You go hide.
Yep.
There you go. You can't shut down. You got to stay present with him and say, I need you to teach me. Will you walk alongside me in this? And then you're going to have to, in the same conversation, preferably over a meal. I like him over a meal. That's just me, because I like eating when I'm sad. And that's not a sad thing. I just eat my feelings. And so there we go. So you don't have to. You can do it on a hike or whatever. And then you have to say, in 1 year, I want this to feel and look like this. In 2 years, in 5 years, I want this thing to look like this thing being our marriage. And if our marriage is not alive, it's just a reflection of what I'm putting into it and a reflection of what he's putting into it.
Okay.
Okay? So hear me say this. I know of no quality data that suggests an open marriage solves anything. I haven't seen the data. It makes no sense.
Okay.
I've seen some crappy studies, and I know it's super cool to talk about with like, yeah, bro, we're adults. We can just be adult. That's just stupid. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I also told myself when I was an adult that I could eat Taco Bell every day, and that was a terrible choice too. I'm an adult, bro. I can just do whatever I want. Not great, right? And so here's the deal. You have to decide what we want this thing to look like, and then you're going to reverse engineer it. You're going to be curious with each other, and you're going to be patient. I do think if you're both invested in this thing, you can have an extraordinary marriage moving forward. I really believe that.
Okay.
But you have to decide he's worth it, and you have to decide that you're worth it. He can't materialize into your soulmate. He's going to become your soulmate after 25 years of grinding things out. And if y'all rebuild something beautiful and powerful and strong, man, then you look back and say, look what we did together. And he's going to be like, remember that time you, and you're going to be like, shut up, stop. We're not talking about it. Right?
Okay.
Fair?
Yes, totally fair.
Okay. All of this starts with you getting with your counselor that you're still seeing and say, I'm tired of carrying these bricks of shame around. We're going to start working on setting them down. Some of that will be about writing. Some of that will be about, they'll have a process with you, with your therapist. Every therapist works with shame. And if they don't, God help you, go get another therapist.
Okay.
But this is going to be about building something together with him and hearing me say you are worth a marriage that is alive. Practice desire. It is a practice. What do you need? What are the ons and offs? So here's two things. I'm going to send you a copy of Own Your Past, Change Your Future, a new book. So stay on the line here. And I also want you to get a copy of Emily Nagoski's book, Come As You Are. It's a book about sex and intimacy for women, but it's incredible for, I've just found it a really invaluable resource. There's probably going to be a lot of stuff in there that you don't need to hear, but there's some incredible sections on offs and ons and gas pedals and brakes and this idea about sexuality and intimacy and how to have conversations together inside of a marriage. And there's going to be stuff in there you don't like, move on past it. It's like all books are going to be that way. You're going to find stuff in my book that you don't like too. My book's going to walk you through, okay, you've got a mess, you got to own it, and then now what are you going to do moving forward? And it'll give you a blueprint for moving forward there. And her book will give you some conversations to have with your husband, and he needs to read it too, right? Thank you for being honest, and set the bricks down, man. Let's excavate this whole thing, and let's start anew, and let's build something beautiful.